Hey fam, happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good week so far. I want to come on here and do my review of the Just Mercy movie. I went and saw this Saturday with my best friend Kia and my youngest son. Went and saw it. It was so good. Very powerful movie. It was really emotional. And I even wanted to take a few days to keep thinking it over and not get emotional while I gave my review. So here I am. Okay, so the cast of this movie is phenomenal. By the way, it's a true story. Everything's true here. Okay, so the cast is so phenomenal. They carry this story. I think this movie was like 2 hours and maybe 15, 20 minutes long, but it didn't feel like that. Okay, so the lead role, Michael B. Jordan, he plays the lawyer, Brian Stevenson, and then we have Jamie Foxx, and he plays Walter McMillan. He is the guy that's on death row, and Brie Larson, she plays Eva Ansley, and she's like the assistant to Brian Stevenson, the attorney in this movie. Then we have O'Shea Jackson Jr., and I was shocked to see him in here. I did not know he was in this movie. He plays a small role. He is the cell neighbor of Walter McMillan's character, and his character is named Anthony Ray Hilton. Then the other character I want to note here is Rob Morgan. He plays Herbert Richardson, which is the other cellmate of Walter's in this movie. So basically, this movie, it begins after Brian Stevenson has graduated from Harvard Law School, and he moves to Alabama, basically to defend those who are wrongly condemned or those who cannot afford legal help, basic legal presentation. It's an organization that he founded, and this is the role that he steps into there. Now, what you do see where he lives, I believe he's from Delaware, if I'm not mistaken. During that time that this all happened, because it was 87, basically, at the time that Walter McMillan was sentenced to prison. Down south was a hell of a lot worse than it was bad. I don't even know how bad it is compared now, because now it's pretty bad too there. But you literally see parts where Brian is sitting on his front porch. He's saying goodbye to his mother. His mama does not want him to go because she knows what he's up against. That's how serious already just stepping into this is. Then we see that, my gosh, there's so much that happens here. Okay, then we see Walter McMillan. He was first sentenced to life in prison. He was picked up on a drive home from work with not a single drop of physical evidence against him. Okay, this is so ridiculous here. So they arrest him. He goes through the court system. Of course, he's locked up the whole time. Found guilty. They sentence him to life. Then somebody switches office in Alabama, and they change his life sentence to a death sentence. And that was issued to him in 1987. And it was issued for the death of a young 18-year-old white girl. Okay, that's literally how this is wrapped up, packaged, given to you. Then we see, let's see. Man, so what they also did there was they used an inmate who happened to be a felon to basically lie and become a witness against Walter in this story. We see that during the original trial that took place for him, there were witnesses for Walter that were never called to testify, not by his own BS attorney who was assigned to him. You know how it always is. No one called these witnesses forward. So along with no evidence against him, there was also no one to stand up for him, including his entire family who was with him at the time of the murder. Okay, we get to that later. One thing that definitely stood out when Michael B. Jordan goes to see these men in prison, the first day he moves, he gets out there and he's getting ready to go in. And of course, the cops want to search him. But, oh my gosh, they literally take him in a room and make him strip completely butt-ass naked, just because they can, just because this is the type of racism that takes place there. Like, you literally see the grips of racism and just inhumane way that these people are willing to treat black folks out there. Let me see. So basically, when Brian gets to Walter, what they decide that they're going to do. And mind you, he had to go through a lot just to get to Walter to listen to him. He went and met his family because Walter is at this point giving up hope, basically. Okay, so once he finally gets him on board, they get in front of a judge and they're asking for a new trial. And they're presenting the new evidence they've come across. And also the fact, you know, stating to them there's no physical evidence against this inmate, blah, blah, blah. Even with all this in front of a new judge, they stop them. They won't allow them to go further. And at this point, you see sort of a breaking point with Walter. And he goes on at this point to tell Brian that at the time that he was arrested, before he went to court, before he was convicted of murder, before he was given a sentence, which turned out to be life, okay? But the moment he was arrested, that asshole chief of police stuck him and put him on death row. He said he was putting them there so he had a taste of what was in his future. He was also trying to get him to admit to a crime that he didn't commit. This is literally how their system was allowed to work there and then. All right? Just mind-blowing. Not to mention the fact that when he was convicted, he was given a life sentence. You don't go on death row for that. Hello? Man, you see Brie Larson's character in here. Basically, Brian had to move, you know, when he got to Alabama. He ends up staying with her family on their couch. And you see, just like in A Time to Kill, how the men who are around, whether it be the police, KKK members, everyone's trying to give them a really hard time just to work. Just to try to help those who are innocent. Just to try to get them off of death row if they're not supposed to be there. It is mind-blowing, baffling. It's fucked up. I don't even know how else to say it. Damn. All right. Walter's cellmate, Rob Morgan. We see him first because he's ill. Like, he speaks with a stutter. You can pretty much tell, listening to him speak, he has mental issues. And as it turns out, he served in the military, in the war. He was in a war, and he came home. And after that war, he was never mentally okay. And he got mad at somebody, and he ended up setting off a bomb on a porch that killed a woman. Now, he was guilty of doing that. However, if he'd ever gotten the mental help that he needed as a soldier who served in war when he returned, he might not have ended up where he was. And even after the fact, they still could have at that point realized this man needs mental help. He doesn't need to be on death row. But it didn't matter because they end up doing him. Oh my gosh. Okay, then we see, man, they end up able to take Walter through the system. They had to go to appeals, you know, and they were able to, in that appeals court. And it's so crazy because you literally see these people. Apparently, this is the town of the writer of To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's a museum there. And with all this going on, while Michael B. Jordan is trying to get this case taken care of and going to the different legal outlets there, they're refusing to help him, but telling him, oh, you should go see the To Kill a Mockingbird exhibit. Who gives a damn, okay? This is a modern day a story like that, and we're trying to keep somebody alive. Man. Okay, so what we're able to see is that basically not only did Michael B. Jordan have to go through the appeals court, he also had to go to like 60 Minutes and give his case on the TV to let it all be known out there, because all the people in the town were coming after anyone who has something positive to do with working towards Walter being released. I mean, the regular citizens, all they want is him dead. It is so crazy. But that character was very smart, how he used the media and the news to put the spotlight on this and to let it be known there was no physical evidence, nothing to tie this man to this murder. And he used it on his behalf. And ultimately, we do see that once they get in front of a judge for the second time at this appeals court, the DA ends up throwing the judgment out against him, basically. And Walter is allowed to go home. This is phenomenal acting, you guys. I would give this movie a 10. I think this movie is excellent. I think the message is powerful. It also enlightens you, the organizations that are working towards getting men, women who don't have money, who are of color. Let's not act like it's the majority of black folks who are locked up, many of whom are innocent, okay? What blows your mind at the end of this movie is the statistics that are given. Basically, 1 in every 9 people on death row is innocent. That organization that Brian started, I have the name here somewhere. The organization that he started freed hundreds of people, including the O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character, who was the other cellmate on the side of Walter. He ended up years later able to get him out because he was innocent as well. You just see one man who goes into an organization with a ton of help around him, who's able to start slowly chipping away at this issue. But there's a lot of work to be done, and he's still working at it. Let me see. Brian was able, like I said, he got his cellmate out. Another thing I need to note here, Michael B. Jordan has a production company, and it adopted the Inclusion Writers. So the company is called Outler Society Productions. Gosh, you guys, I'm having a hard time reading my own handwriting. So it's Outler Society Productions. An inclusion writer is a clause in an actor's contract where they can set out baseline diversity requirements for cast and crew before the actor commits to the project. Basically, they're saying you're going to give a chance to people of color and to women for all roles that have to do with this movie. It's more or less an equal opportunity shot fired to Hollywood, to the Hollywood industry, who has forever, as seen in this year's nominations for Oscar awards that were just announced this week, only been concerned with and made positions available to white people. This is the Hollywood nod to that. It's a way for the people who are in the industry to have a little power play, and Michael B. Jordan's company follows this, and these are the types of movies that he is getting into, and I will support the hell out of any movie that is made with this type of article behind it, because hello, we're here too, and we've been doing this for a long time, and it's about time. So anyway, I really hope you guys enjoy my review. I know I can get long-winded. Love the movie. Like I said, I give it a 10. Excellent. I'd go see it again. Take a friend, take your mom. Great movie. If you like my review, hit the like button, become a subscriber, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good week. All right? Bye, guys.